back to our YouTube channel in the Ask PWIP session. Here am I answering your questions. Merchant exporters and factory stuffing. Well, this is what we are going to discuss in this video, whether merchant exporters are allowed for factory stuffing or not. This is under the assumption that the exporter does not have his own factory, right? Hi, I'm Dhanraj Kidyur, founder of PWIP. We make a lot of content on exports, on rice exports, and about rice and the markets around this ecosystem. And you can find us a lot on YouTube, Instagram. There could be a student or a new aspiring business entrepreneur who might want this kind of an information. I would urge you and I want to request you to share, like, comment on these kind of information and you share as much as possible. Diving back into the topic, merchant exporters. Firstly, the factory stuffing, as we all know, the common sense says that is allowed for people who own factories. Now, if you have a seafood factory, if you have a rice mill, if you have any manufacturing unit, your containers can come to your factory instead of you loading it onto a particular truck, then sending it to another truck, etc., right? Assume a case of, say, frozen items like an ice cream. If it had to be loaded onto a particular truck, then again shifted to another refrigerated truck, a lot of damages and fluctuation of temperatures could lead into deteriorating of product quality, right? So a lot of manufacturers need, and specific products need, factory stuffing. And this factory stuffing, the problem is, assume that you are in a place like Chhattisgarh, for example. Now you have to call an empty container from Vizag, right? So from Andhra Pradesh, can you call an empty container into Chhattisgarh? From Chennai, which is in Tamil Nadu, can you call an empty container into Karnataka? So there are certain regulations. One is being cost effective, second being having regulations in place. So I'll give an example of places like Gondia and Nagpur. Nagpur has an internal container depot. Though the port is Mumbai, there is an internal container depot at Nagpur where containers can be deployed into factories in Nagpur and Gondia. So that is not going to eat up a lot of transportation costs. Factory stuffing approvals are taken from the customs and then the shipments do happen from there. Now, if it is a merchant exporter, it is still possible. Earlier it was very much easier. As days goes by, years go by, authorities make it very stricter and from a quality perspective, because there is also a risk, my friends. I'll tell you, the biggest risk for the government officials, for the customs officers, is that when a container comes into a factory, then they lose control, right? What do you stuff into the container, they don't come to know, right? What if you declare that you are going to ship rice, but you stuff the container with something else altogether, right? So they are going to be in a very bad situation. However, when the container from the factory comes to the customs, there is a process of randomly cutting the seals, right? Breaking open the seals, which is a line seal. They open and then they inspect the cargo, whether the cargo matches to what is there in the shipping bill as well. So this is one big risk that they pose, because of which they want to restrict the use of factory stuffing. Now, if a merchant exporter is very clear that I have, say, 3 to 4 mills that I am going to continuously work with, and I'm going to not at the nth moment come out with different factories, right? Because you can work with many factories as a merchant exporter, right? So if you are able to declare a particular number of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 factories I'm going to buy on a continuous basis, then the job becomes very, very easier. So to answer the question, first thing, if a merchant exporter can do factory stuffing, the answer is yes. However, there are some riders on this. You have to talk to your customs house agent. If it is a dry commodity which can easily travel, which does not need refrigeration, etc., it could go on a trucks. And a lot of times I have seen in my experience, because the container, for example, is in a particular container yard, for it to travel from there to the factory and back, it is very, very expensive. the cost just doesn't work out. But you will have to talk to your agent, who will talk to the customs house agent, who will prepare the applications accordingly, and you can still buy from a factory stuffing. It happens in Delhi ICD, it happens in Nagpur ICD, a lot of places this thing happens, and you can still do factory stuffing. But however, the process is very strict, and you might need a little more patience to do it. So what I suggest is keep doing existing shipment by truck, and parallelly keep applying for this, which will make your job a little bit easier. Thank you. I'm very glad that a lot of questions are coming from our users asking about export, asking about rice, asking about ban, and I'm very glad to answer all of them. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask us, and we'll try our best to answer every question that comes along our way. Thank you.